Now, let's put in Vonda's chart of accounts. You may well ask, what is the chart of accounts? Well, in the old days, the chart of accounts was the general ledger. Then you might ask, what is the general ledger? Well, as you can see, it's a book where each page in the book records a different item of income, expense, or asset that a company might have. For example, page 1 might be the page where you write down every event or every transaction where you earned video income. Page 6 might be the page where you write down every event or every transaction where you pay repair expense. And the entire book is the general ledger. When it comes to the computer, the general ledger is called the chart of accounts. And as you can see, here's Vonda's chart of accounts, and here are the names of the accounts that we're about to type in. Every account has a name and a type. The type of account you choose is one of the preset choices from the pull-down menu. The name you can type in yourself. You can call the accounts anything you want as long as you recognize it. But we recommend that you write down the names as is shown here. The corresponding type will determine how it behaves. For example, it doesn't matter what you call cash and bank. You can name it Cash and Chase Bank or bank account. But as long as you choose bank type of account to go with it, QuickBooks Online will know that that's the account that matches to your bank account, and you could possibly later import bank transactions or do bank feeds. Same thing with account receivable and account payable. They're special accounts. You don't have to name it accounts receivable. You could change the name to Money Customers Owe Us if you want to. But if you choose Type Accounts Receivable, QuickBooks will know that this is the account, regardless of what you named it, this is the account that matches the customer's balances. Since this is the picture we will be copying from when we input the chart of accounts, I will be coming back to this picture, reading from it, then going to QuickBooks Online and recording the account on the list. If you like, you can pause the video at this picture and put in the rest of the accounts yourself. You can open the chart of accounts by clicking Accounting, Chart of Accounts. Now, if this is the first time that you're opening the chart of accounts, since you created the QuickBooks Online account, you have to click this green button, See Your Chart of Accounts. And notice, in the Chart of Accounts window, you see that QuickBooks Online has added to your chart of accounts the most commonly used account names and account types. So these will be the only accounts that we will be using during the course. So if you feel that your account list is too long and too cluttered because your chart of accounts also includes accounts that QuickBooks Online put there automatically, then you can remove their accounts from the list by making the account inactive. So, some accounts you can't remove, but most you can. For example, if I went down to travel expense and I click this arrow and I click Make Inactive, you will see it is removed from the list and the list is smaller. You can remove rent and lease, make inactive, yes, and the list gets smaller and smaller. You can get rid of cost of goods sold, and the list gets smaller and smaller, and you can even pause the video while you remove some that we won't use, like meals and entertainment, and this type of thing. And if you are removing accounts to make the list smaller, you will find that some accounts you cannot remove, so you can just leave them. That usually applies to things like retained earnings, where it says, sorry, you need to use this no matter what. But all the other ones that we're not using, you can go back and remove later if you feel the chart of accounts is too cluttered. And don't worry if you accidentally make an account inactive that you need, because you can always bring it back. Watch. If you go to the cogwheel in the top right of the chart of account list, directly above the first account, and click where it says Settings, you can come down and click Include Inactive. Now all the ones that we made inactive are showing up. And when they show up in the action column, we have the option to make them active again. You can click Make Active, and now when you remove the check mark so that you don't include the inactive accounts, you can now see it because you now reactivated that account. So don't worry, it's not something that will have any bad effect as your usage in QuickBooks Online. So let's pause the video while you remove all the accounts that you can remove so that your list is much smaller before we put on this chart of accounts. Now, I didn't remove every possible account that I could. I left a few common expenses here on the bottom and left the ones that they did not allow me to remove here on top. But you can remove whichever ones you do or do not want to keep. It doesn't really matter as long as you're able to find the accounts that you're looking for in the chart of accounts. Now let's put in this chart of accounts. And when we put in the name, we will leave it in capital letters so that we will see clearly that it's one of the accounts that we put ourselves and not one of the accounts that QuickBooks Online put for us. And we will copy the exact account type that corresponds with the name, and we will leave the default for the selected detail type and not address that as it is not relevant in this course. So let's go ahead and record the accounts. We can scroll up, by the way, scroll up to the top of the window to get the New Account button, New. Now we choose the type. We leave the detail type alone because it will not be relevant, and we type in the name in capital letters. Now, if we click Save and Close, we will save this and we will close the window. And if we do that, you can see the account we just created is now in the list regarding the type and the detail type, and again, disregard this, it's not relevant. Scroll up and click New, and we will add the next one. Accounts Receivable is Accounts Receivable type. So we choose Accounts Receivable type, and we type in the name. Well, the name is already selected, that's nice. So we can just click either Save and Close or Save and New. And if we click Save and New instead by clicking the arrow first to get Save and New, it will put it on the list and it will keep this new account window open, so it will speed up the process. Supplies are other current asset. I believe supplies were already on the list, but let's type it in. Let's choose other current asset and type in the word supplies. And then click Save and New. Then equipment is a fixed asset. So we choose fixed asset, equipment. And of course, Save and New. Now if I close this out, you can see that the ones in capital letters are the ones that we typed in. See if you can pause the video and put in the rest of the chart of accounts. And when you finish putting in the chart of accounts, you should see in capital letters all of the accounts that were on our specific account list, and the types should match exactly.